Welcome back here on News 12 The Bronx. This time of year often marks the end of the holiday season and the start of a new chapter. For dozens of Bronxites, though, it is anything but.
Yeah, rather it is a harsh reminder of that tragic fire that took place 5 years ago tomorrow. 13 people died. And News 12's Faith Graham brings us the story of a survivor as she reflects on that cold December night.
Why them? Why so young?
Those are the questions Katie and Blake has asked herself every day for the last 5 years.
It's a pain unlike anything I felt before.
Katie and Blake and her family first moved to 2363 Prospect Avenue in 2011, a building that was also home to several of her relatives.
It was like a family for most of the residents there.
But that sense of family would eventually be destroyed on the night of December 28, 2017, when a fire started in an apartment on the first floor.
There's all this adrenaline going on when you're in danger.
Blake, her immediate family, and some of her neighbors managed to escape. But that wasn't the case for everyone.
On the firefighters' radio, they were counting how many deceased people they were confirming.
Time was moving against them as 5 of Blake's relatives from other floors were still missing.
I felt like running, and that's exactly what I did.
Amid the chaos, she headed to the hospital.
Within about 10 minutes, my mom called me and she told me that they were all dead. So I was just devastated.
13 tenants died from smoke inhalation, including all of Blake's missing family members.
It's the most devastating news I've ever heard.
We would later learn the fire started from a young boy playing with a stove. The fire spread furiously after the apartment door was left open and the stairwell turned into a chimney.
Had there been enough done, this tragedy would not have been a tragedy. It would not have been a moment in time. It wouldn't have never happened.
5 years later, the building sits empty as it's now a part of a hefty lawsuit. And while there's no longer any visible signs of the horror that happened just beyond these brick walls, the memories aren't as easily erased from Blake's mind.
More could have been done had they been in place. You know, we wouldn't have lost 13 people on that day.
Yo, get out of the way! Hey!
A day that marked the city's deadliest fire in 25 years. 4 years later, 1 mile away, another fire at Twin Parks Northwest would gain the unwanted title.
There should not be another Bronx fire. There should not be another 2-year-old or a 7-month-old that is dead.
And while her anger is strong, it's overpowered by her love.
You know, our family isn't short of saying that I love you, but I just wish that I was able to tell them that I loved them one last time.
Absolutely heartbreaking there. You really feel for them. Even 5 years later, it really feels like it just was yesterday for her.
That pain's still so fresh and palpable for her. Faith, you mentioned that that building still remains unoccupied. Where is she now?
Yeah, so the building itself, that's still unoccupied, but as for Blake and her family, they could not handle living in the Bronx or even in an apartment building, so they actually moved to New Jersey, which is where they live now. But every year on the anniversary, they do return to the building, so they'll be there tomorrow, as I'm sure so many people will be. And it really just speaks to her character and who she is as a person, that she can continue to share her story all these years later. It really is, it's helpful, especially around this time of year when we hear about these fires, especially in the Bronx.
Yeah, absolutely, and a memorial and anniversary that we'll be remembering as we head into tomorrow. Faith, thank you.
Absolutely, big anniversary there. We've got several of these anniversaries.